Could it be that the Los Angeles Chargers just took the most important step toward the playoffs, and almost nobody noticed? Monday's win over the Philadelphia Eagles didn't just change the score, it completely shook up the Chargers' playoff picture, reshaped the AFC's atmosphere, and opened a door that seemed about to close. And what if I told you the impact is much greater than most people realize? Explosion on the field, my friends. Before we start dissecting everything, do this. Subscribe to the channel, leave a like, and comment on what you think about the future of the Los Angeles Chargers, because this final stretch promises to be a major saga. What happened against the Eagles wasn't just a victory, it was a message, a sign, a spark that rekindled that feeling of, we can do it. And you won't want to miss a single detail of this journey. The Chargers entered Week 14 walking a tightrope, still in second place in the AFC West, fighting to keep alive the flame of a season alternated between confidence and uncertainty. But by defeating the Philadelphia Eagles that Monday night, something changed in the air. The team is now 9-4, and this simple change in numbers already carries direct consequences for the Chargers' playoff picture, the Chargers' playoff race, and the franchise's fate. Recent history already showed that any slip-up could be costly, but any victory could be worth its weight in gold. And this one was. According to the Athletics Playoff Simulator, the Los Angeles Chargers' chances of advancing to the postseason jumped to 78%. That's a huge number compared to the 65% the team had before Week 14 kicked off. This isn't just a statistical detail. It's the difference between breathing a sigh of relief and stepping onto the field in despair. A 13 percentage point increase perfectly illustrates the significance of this victory over the Eagles, and why, yes, it can be remembered as one of the key moments of the season. And all of this gains even when we look at the AFC West standings. The Broncos continue to lead with 11-2, while the Chargers remain solid in second with 9-4, followed by the Chiefs with 6-7 and the Raiders with 2-11. The AFC West standings reveal much more than a numerical order. They show pressure on one side, opportunity on the other, and the absolute need for consistency in this final stretch. The division still has sparks, and the end promises to be one that stirs the heart. But here's the detail that makes any fan hold their breath. The Chargers' remaining schedule is, according to Tankathon, the sixth toughest schedule in the entire NFL until the end of the season. This means that nothing, absolutely nothing, will come easy. There are games against strong teams, away games, games against direct rivals, and games that can decide a playoff spot by tiny details. And when you have a 78% chance, every snap becomes a strategic decision. Every mistake becomes a scare. Every success becomes hope. The first challenge in this sequence is against the Kansas City Chiefs, away from home in Week 15. A game that needs no introduction. Historic rivalry, ever-present tension, sharp narrative. After that, Week 16 brings the confrontation against the Dallas Cowboys, also away from home, another one of those duels that mixes emotional weight and technical demands. In Week 17, finally a game in Los Angeles against the Houston Texans, who are currently in the wild card race, occupying the third spot. And then we arrive at the grand finale. Week 18, Denver Broncos in Denver, potentially at stake for division fate, seeding, and survival in the AFC. A script that seems written by Hollywood screenwriters, and perhaps it was. Meanwhile, the overall AFC landscape shows impressive dominance at the top. Broncos 11-2 leading the West, Patriots 11-2 commanding the East, Jaguars 9-4 leading the AFC South, and Steelers 7-6 at the top of the AFC North. The number one wild card is in the hands of the team,
to Los Angeles.
with a 9-4 record, followed by the Bills, also 9-4, and the Texans with 8-5. The in the hunt zone is more alive than ever, with the Colts 8-5, Ravens 6-7, Chiefs 6-7, and Dolphins 6-7 trying to get in on the action. And that's why every Chargers victory becomes a wall erected between them and their pursuers. Now, imagine the scene. The silent locker room after the victory over the Eagles. The players looking at the schedule of upcoming games, mentally envisioning Chiefs, Cowboys, Texans, and Broncos. The imaginary camera zooms in on the number 78%, which flashes on the monitor as if to say, it's almost certain, but not yet guaranteed. Outside, the fans cheer, discuss, and calculate scenarios. The bars of Los Angeles become small war rooms, where each fan tries to predict what needs to happen in the AFC for the team to secure the Chargers' wildcard spot with ease. Behind the scenes, the perception is clear. The road is still tough. The players recognize that facing 2 consecutive away games against strong teams is almost like playing in early finals. Analysts emphasize that the 6th most difficult schedule in the NFL demands maturity, execution, and composure. And yet, something different hangs in the air: confidence. The victory over the Eagles seems to have ignited a new flame in the group, a silent conviction that the team not only can go to the playoffs, but can get there strong. But that's where the mirror comes in. While the team is 9-4, holds the number 1 wild card, and has a 78% chance of qualifying, the warning remains that any slip-up could scramble everything, especially with the Colts, Bills, and Texans breathing down their necks. The final duel against the Broncos could be the chapter that decides whether the team enters the postseason with authority or with concern. The AFC is unstable, and teams like the Ravens, Chiefs, and Dolphins are still alive enough to... Even so, the truth that resonates among fans, analysts, and players is simple. After this victory against the Eagles, the dream has become tangible again. The math helps, the performance is convincing, and the psychological moment seems to have turned the key. The Los Angeles Chargers now depend only on themselves, and that, my friends, is enormous power, and also an enormous burden. Now I ask, are the Los Angeles Chargers truly ready to capitalize on this final push, tackle this brutal schedule, and turn a 78% chance into certainty? Or are they still missing that final adjustment to compete on equal footing with the Broncos, Patriots, Jaguars, Bills, and the entire AFC Avalanche? I want you to tell me. Leave a like, comment below what scenario you believe will happen in this final stretch, and follow me on this journey, because every game now is history being written live. And honestly, this is just the beginning. Could it be that the Los Angeles Chargers that's where the mirror comes in. While the team is 9-4, holds the number 1 wild card, and has a 78% chance of qualifying, the warning remains that any slip-up could scramble everything, especially with the Colts, Bills, and Texans breathing down their necks. The final duel against the Broncos could be the chapter that decides whether the team enters the postseason with authority or with concern. The AFC is unstable, and teams like the Ravens, Chiefs, and Dolphins are still alive enough to... Even so, the truth that resonates among fans, analysts, and players is simple. After this victory against the Eagles, the dream has become tangible again. The math helps, the performance is convincing, and the psychological moment seems to have turned the key. The Los Angeles Chargers now depend only on themselves, and that, my friends, is enormous power, and also an enormous burden. Now I ask, are the Los Angeles Chargers truly ready to capitalize on this final push, tackle this